Hey y'all, so I'm coming to you today with another video that is kind of a serious topic. Please know that this is very hard to share. Nothing like this ever comes easy, and all I ask is that if you have something to say, please be nice. And if you have something to say that is hateful or not necessary, please just don't even bother commenting. I know there's plenty of people out on YouTube that talk about this kind of stuff, and I honestly never thought that I would have the guts to do it, because it's something personal and it makes you, if you're going through it, very ashamed. And that would be being obese. This is something that has been going on for a while. It's happened along throughout the years, but I'm finally making the decision to try to be a role model to some people and be a better me. This is not something that's easy, especially for me, and I'll give some background about that, but this journey that I'm about to begin is going to be a lot of hard work, and I know that, but luckily I will have plenty of support from my family. I have a very supportive husband, and I hope to have the support of anybody watching this video. So just kind of a little history. When I was younger, I was one of the people that kind of developed early. I was always a little bit taller, a little bit bigger, anything like that than any of my classmates. I was kind of, just not really the odd person out, but in ways it did feel like that. But progressively through the years, me and my family started noticing that I was starting to gain weight. And we weren't really sure what the reason was. We knew that I wasn't eating the things that I should be eating, that I was probably eating more than what I should be eating. But there seemed to be something more than that. And as I got older, this may be too much information, TMI, but I feel like I did get my period before other girls my age, but at the same time, as I got further and further into maturing, we started noticing that aspect of it, as far as cycles and everything goes, things were a little off. I would get really bad ones. Some months I wouldn't get them at all. And as I got older, it just started getting worse and worse, and I started gaining more and more weight. Like I said before, there were things that I could have done to make that easier, to make it slow down, but we knew that there was something going on, we just didn't know what. And as I got older, my sister, who is a PA, she kind of started learning more about all of these medical conditions, and I'm not going to say any names, but a close family friend had a condition called PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And as I started getting older, my sister started noticing that some of the signs or symptoms that I was displaying, our family friend that had PCOS was also displaying. So the first time I ever went to a gynecologist, I brought it up to them, said, you know, my sister is concerned that this is what I have. They brushed it off, said it was nothing. And I just kept gaining weight. When I got married, my wedding dress was a size 26. Which is probably meant I was I was wearing about a 22 or 24 at that time in normal clothes. That was definitely hard because a lot of the trends that were going on, I wasn't really a trend follower, but there were some cute things out there that I couldn't fit into. I was having to wear the things that some older women would wear, and I kind of had a hard time finding things that were flattering to me. I would wear tops that weren't flattering, but I wore them because I wanted to wear them, because I felt like the odd person out if I wasn't wearing it. And I finally learned to just bypass that, and I kind of realized that just wasn't an option for me. But after I got married, I moved away, and I had, of course, had to change doctors, and I expressed my concern about this to my second gynecologist. They ran a panel of blood tests, and they originally told me that what I probably had, not even definite, but what I probably had was something called metabolic syndrome. And according to them, that kind of was very similar to PCOS. Normally, if someone has PCOS, they will give you a sonogram to see if your ovaries actually have cysts on them, and put a lot more effort into it. And I felt like this doctor just wasn't. And at that point, I was still gaining weight. After I got married, I almost immediately gained 20 pounds. And it hasn't stopped. For a while, I cut out sodas, anything like that, and I believe I lost a couple of pounds. It wasn't until I went to my family doctor, not even a person that necessarily specializes in this. I went to my family doctor and told her what was going on, and at this point, I had not had a period for about 4 months, which, you know, isn't good, and it's definitely not normal. And it was actually my family doctor that pointed me to getting a sonogram, and actually that same day it worked out. The person that was there doing that was able to fit me in, and I kind of noticed the look on her face while she was performing the sonogram, and I could tell that something was up, but she couldn't really tell me, so I had to wait until I had to come back to see the doctor for her to discuss it with me. And I believe that was 2000, I believe it was last year, 2014, that I was officially diagnosed with PCOS. I was also told at that same time that I was borderline diabetic. That was not fun to hear, but I knew that a lot of times that falls hand in hand with PCOS, insulin resistance, all that. So at least we had at that point something to go by. We knew that part of the reason that I was gaining weight just more rapidly than a normal person should was because of this PCOS. It's very easy for you to put on weight, and it's also very hard for you to lose weight. Now, there are some subjects like PCOS I'll probably go into more detail in another video, but for time's sake, we'll just keep moving. But at the point where I found that out, it was time for another visit to the gynecologist. I expressed my concerns to her, told her everything that was going on. And of course, one of the first things that they're going to tell you if you are an overweight person, please know that PCOS is not a fat person syndrome. You could be a size 0 and you could have PCOS. It's just something that I think is more common in women that do have weight issues. But of course, the first thing she suggested was weight loss and exercise, diet and exercise. And, you know, I discussed this with my husband and we seemed pretty gung-ho about it. We thought that we had made the decision then and there that this is what we were going to do. We were going to lose weight. But at that same doctor's visit, my gynecologist also told me, and I already knew this, with PCOS, it does affect your fertility a lot. And me, being a person that I kind of feel like I was put on this earth to be a wife and be a mother, that wasn't easy to hear. And after that, for a period of probably 6 months, I fell into a depression. I didn't realize that at first, but for a very long time, I was under the impression that this isn't going to change. This is something that I'm going to just have to deal with, and I'm never going to have kids. And that was really hard for me to wrap my head around. But eventually I came out of that, and things seemed to be kind of looking up. I had started Weight Watchers. I had lost about 17 pounds, and then it just kind of lost its appeal. So I started a new job and I felt like things were going great until I started realizing that that job was probably not for me. I won't go into detail about that, but I was very unhappy there and kind of started feeling like I was falling back into a depression, which it's not easy for me, but I know it's definitely hard for my family that was having to watch me go through this. And I also have anxiety issues. Years ago, probably 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I made the decision that this was no longer, my anxiety attacks that I was having was no longer something I could handle on my own. And since I made that decision, I have been on a medication for that, and that has helped tremendously. The issue was I felt with that and everything else, with my job, I noticed I started having anxiety attacks again, which made me feel like, what am I doing wrong? Why is this not working? And I kind of started beating myself up, and I eventually quit the job I was so unhappy at. And that was the point where I was like, maybe what I'm meant to do, for right now at least, is just be a housewife, work on my little business that I have. Maybe that's what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Unfortunately, with that decision came more weight gain. I became a lot more sedentary than I was before, which wasn't helping anything. So here we are, present day, and this is very embarrassing to say. It's mortifying, but kind of one of my wake-up calls was when I stepped on the scales the other day and it told me that I weighed 310 pounds. When I was in high school, which was a little more than 5 years ago, I weighed about 160, 150 or 160. So to go from that to 310 pounds was a big deal. My husband, along with other people, said, you know, why don't we try a diet pill? That may work for some people, but I was so concerned with the anxiety issues that I had that being put on something like that would make me spiral. Like my anxiety would come back. Not only that, but I wanted to be able to say that I lost weight without the help of a pill, of an appetite suppressant, of anything like that. I wanted to be able to say, I lost this from hard work. I lost all this weight from diet and exercise because I decided for me that I needed to change my life. So this is where we're currently standing. I've definitely had my wake-up call. This, to me, putting this video out there is a way for holding myself accountable. If I've told other people my story and that I'm starting this journey to a healthier life, I feel like I'm accountable for my actions now. So what we're going to start doing, we're definitely going to change what we eat. We are definitely people that eat what you might call convenience food. We eat a lot of fast food. And I love to cook, but I noticed as I started gaining weight, I cooked less. So I'm definitely going to start cooking more. And not only cooking more, but cooking healthier meals. It's very easy to fry something or cook something fattening. So that will be definitely a big change for me as well. But the apartment that we live at luckily has a gym that we are free to use anytime. So that will be helpful. And we've also decided that we are probably going to get bikes and start riding bikes in the morning as not only an exercise but something we can do together. So this is where we stand. The decision has definitely been made that this is not the life that I want to live, and if I want to even keep living, this is a decision that has to be made. I fall into the morbidly obese category, and after this day I want to put that behind me and never look back. I want to be able to look back and say, that is the person that I used to be. I never want to have to go shopping and buy a size 26 jeans and them still fit tight. I never want to feel embarrassed of going out in public in shorts. I'm not only doing this to improve my health, but I also want to improve how I see myself. Because when you get to this point with weight gain, you kind of give up on yourself. And you stop feeling beautiful. And for anyone that's going through this, you should know that that is not the way to live. So hopefully, if you're watching this video, please be supportive. Know that this was very hard. And for anyone out there that is looking for inspiration, I hope that maybe you can start your journey and we can do this together. And the only way to move on with this is to go forward and not look back. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.